and welcome to yet another fabulous episode of the podcast, Cre8 at Innovate. I am Oche Anejo.
And I am Mirabel Uzioma.
Yeah, good to see you, Mirabel. You look good.
Thank you.
Okay, so why don't you tell us what this is going to be about?
Okay, as you already know, Cre8 is a podcast. It's a platform for talking about science, technology, innovation. Yeah. It's really just an interactive session where we get to talk about amazing stuff.
Yeah, of course. And just a little banter in between here and there. And of course, it promises to be an exciting episode. We've got a very interesting topic we're going to talk about, and it's going to be in line with the World Food Day, which was celebrated on the 16th of October. And even though it's over, we're just going to talk about it because food is something that relates to everybody. Don't you think so?
Of course.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking, this is World Food Day. I didn't get anything from you. No rice, no spaghetti, nothing. What's up with that? Yeah. Oh, you're just wicked like that and you don't want to just, Abba, I'm your guy. Just let me know.
I mean, I don't know what to say. But maybe next time.
Oh, next time. No, it's not too late to just right your wrongs.
See what I love next time.
Okay, so just like we said, it's all about the celebration of the World Food Day. And even if it's over, obviously just a day ago, we're still going to talk about things related to agriculture, technology, and innovation. So stay hooked up to the podcast and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Cre8 by Innovate. As we said earlier, we'll be talking about the World's Food Day. Basically, we're talking about agriculture and tech together. We call it agri-tech.
Agri-tech. However you choose to coin it, it's all the same thing.
I mean, you should stay tuned because you're going to love it.
Yeah, so moving on, we'll go to an interesting segment called How We Do It, where innovators and people, skilled actors in the business just tell us how they do it. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
I'm Tosin by name, staff of Innovate and agriculturist. This is hydroponic, where we plant on water without soil. We plant it in a nursery. These are our nursery. This is just a week. It will take like 1 to 2 weeks. Then we transplant. And this is the transplant. This for 2 weeks. So after 21 days, we harvest. This is what the result we have. This is overdue. But normally, after 21 days, we harvest. Okay, in greenhouse, we have tomato, bell pepper, seedless cucumber, which we plant the seed of the tomato. We put it in a dark room for 3 to 5 days. We take it out to the nursery. After nursery, we leave it for like 3 good weeks before we now transplant. This is just a week of transplanting of the tomato. And this is 2 weeks of transplanting of the pepper. But cucumber, we plant it directly, no transplanting. And this 2 months of planting of cucumber. And this is how we do it.
Okay, welcome back. And that was, an exciting part of the show, I just like it when, young innovators and entrepreneurs, just use their skills, talents to achieve something substantial in the society.
I find it interesting that, people sit down and think about the problems in Nigeria or even outside Nigeria and try to come up with, solutions because it pertains to them, especially when it comes to, agriculture. You know how, farmers have their challenges, yes. But because we, on the other end, we don't really pay much attention to them. There are people that are paying attention to these problems and their challenges. And so, being able to see someone come up with, for instance, irrigation system, how to water a plant and stuff like that, it's
fabulous. Excellent. Okay, so in line with that, we'll be going further in the discussion. We've got 2 incredible guests who are specialists in their field, and they'll be shedding more light on the World Food Day as well as agricultural technology or agrotech, however you choose to coin it. So stay connected to Cre8 and we'll be right back.
Hi, welcome back to Cre8. Like we said earlier, we have two amazing guests in our midst. So please, gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
Thank you very well. Hi, my name is Remy Salarin. I'm head of product design at Innovate Hub in Abuja. I originally studied architecture and discovered my passion in product design through basically it just happened in the UK, and I'm very pleased to be here in Nigeria, doing the best I can to actually help us move forward.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Kabir Abrazak. Engineer Kabir Abrazak.
Yes.
So working with Innovate at the Electrical and Electronic Department. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
Okay.
So, just to jump into it, what do you think about agrotech?
Yeah, agrotech, when you talk about agrotech or agrotech, refers to agriculture technology. So it refers to use of technology in agriculture to ensure productivity and quality in agriculture. That's why we have so many advantages. Let me take you back in those days where we have, without the kind of techniques in agriculture, the productivity we have, the quality we have, even the quantity is entirely different than that currently we have due to this coming technology in agriculture. That's why three major advantages of agrotech is: number one, creating advanced crop. Because of the climate condition, that is global climate changes, it affects almost every sector, including agriculture, whereby diseases are increased in our crop. So but there are some certain crop that was manufactured, that was created because of this technology that can acclimatize the weather of our environment, especially here in Nigeria, that can adapt all the seasons here in Nigeria, one of the major advantages. And then crop growth, we call plant growth promotion. In a situation like, especially here in IPA during the last year, how do you call that? Soilless farming?
Soilless farming.
Yeah, that's what I come up with. I mean, we have a greenhouse that you can regulate the temperature, humidity, and everything.
Yes.
It's one of the amazing technology that agrotech.
It's one of the leading farmers in Nigeria. Very, very impressed with the setup.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, wonderful.
Yes.
So we've spoken as professionals at Innovate. So can you tell us about how Innovate has done, with the progress of agrotech?
Yeah. Well, we've actually embarked on quite a few projects, from testing the soil, connecting through the IoT system. So we have a way of communicating basically the soil quality. We developed different types of irrigation systems, some mobile, where basically there's a pump connected to the wheel that creates this fine mist in terms of irrigating as the object moves forward. We've also developed some solar-powered pumps with sensors in the ground that basically detect when the ground is dry in order to be able to actually irrigate it. So we tend to try and find solutions to basically improve the technology in farming, because as we do that, hopefully the crop is better, and it's better for the community as well.
Sure.
That's what we call maintenance technology. You reminded me on that.
You could say.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I actually love the chemistry between both of you. Just this synergy. You guys are just syncing together your thoughts and ideas. That's amazing.
Sure.
Well, this is one of the things I find amazing about the center, is how we all somehow just gel and actually interact in a very professional way. And we all work together for the better good.
Yes.
We also have, that's diverting from the agro. Let's go to the agro.
Definitely. So you want to ask the next question?
You said you work on some projects, basically. Yes. Do you want to emphasize on anyone in particular that you have worked on?
You look at me.
Yes, you can.
You're the master.
That's what I'm going to talk about. Okay. Basically, like me, I work on based on the contribution that is egg incubator. It doesn't mean that we don't have egg incubator in Nigeria. No, we have, but this one is special. With the help of Innovate here that will make it standard. I believe we can compete with the even imported incubator we
Yes.
have in the market,
Yes.
really, because the kind of support we have here at Innovate is very amazing, and we are sure that we can compete with the available one in the market. So that incubator, it really alleviates the use of excessive energy in operation because it cut almost 80% of the energy demand when incubating, because it uses just small amount of DC power to operate.
Wow.
A 1 kg, let me give you an example, 500 egg capacity of incubator. You can incubate the whole 500 eggs at the cost of 150,000 naira. Could you imagine? But let me give you a kind of rough estimate if you are going for a purely electrical one. You need like 4 tins to run an incubator at a capacity of 500 egg capacity. You need 2 number batteries, you need charge controller, you need solar panels. You understand, you need inverter. Like around 1,500,000 naira gonna incurred in that cost, which is exactly. Can you see the difference?
Yes, yes.
Already.
I think one of the things that I was most impressed with that project is how well thought out it was, and how professionally it even worked. So it was not just a prototype; it was a working proof of concept.
Of course.
And in my case, I worked on quite a few projects. The one that actually really stands out is one that I'm still refining, but we're literally almost there because we want to get the best product is for this gentleman who's got one of the most successful farms in Nigeria. He came to us through IFAIR, and basically he wanted to improve on the best product in the world. And I always love challenges like that. So what we did was we did a lot of research. We looked at the best product. We actually came up with an idea, which was the farmer's idea, to double the yield per square meter, and that's by having 8 plants rather than just 4. We also did research in terms of the way the plants, when the water flows down, how it irrigates the plants below. And rather than, a lot of people just see an idea and they kind of like just rehash it. We completely rethought the whole system of the irrigation to be much more efficient, because the best product in the world you have, without going into detail, you have to water the 2 levels above. We've actually improved it where you only have to water the top level. So it's much more efficient. And then we look at how, from past experience of packaging, how much money is actually saved for a customer if you reduce the height of the stacking. Stacking is when you put the items on top of each other by half. So it means basically when it's shipped from the manufacturers, because unfortunately we don't have the capability, we've been looking, we haven't found the manufacturing capability here yet. Hopefully maybe in time we'll develop it. But in terms of shipping, it means we get twice the amount of products per container. And these kind of benefits, real financial benefits, allows our customer to be able to reduce his costs, be able to be competitive and still make a healthy margin. So it's fascinating actually developing projects. Really.
Wow. Wonderful.
If I wasn't there, I wouldn't. I promise I'll be lost.
Stop. Why are you trying so hard to be part of them?
No. I was there. So.
Fine. That's right. So just going forward, I read an alarming stat. Like it says 1 out of 10 mechanized farmers in the world is an African. So that means 9 out of 10 are outside the continent. So I just building to that, I just want to understand what the challenges are, both in Africa and Nigeria in particular, when it comes to agrotech. What are these challenges?
Basically, a challenge mostly we have is in our rural community, adaptations and the lack of awareness of the modern technique that exists. You find out that a farmer in a rural area, there's no way that you can convince him, okay, hey, come on, this is a kind of technique that we introduced to him. He may not you understand me? Because of the lack of awareness and that it is what brings into adaptation. So there's no lack of awareness. So I think these are the things that that drawback or a limitation toward this improvement.
Yeah, if I can build on that, actually, one of the challenges we find in the design department is the limited materials that are available. We often have to go to the market to basically see what's available and actually modify our design based on what's actually available. But I think also the as you said, when we do a design, how we educate the farmers how to use the product. This is something we also consider as well.
Okay, and so you sound like you've got solutions to the challenges, or at least you've got ideas.
You have an idea. You look like you have an idea.
Well, I think the thing is we're constantly looking for the best possible solutions. I think it's in terms of there's some communities that actually really need help, so we do get a lot of delegates. We do a lot of partnerships with various different professional bodies that bring problem ideas to us, which we can then find a solution. And then we do our best to figure out how to make it in Nigeria and in the most cost-effective way, and then introduce it. So hopefully we'll improve the agriculture using the I don't like to say limited technology. I mean, we do have the ability to think and come up with very good ideas.
Yes.
And I think, from that perspective, we do introduce technology based on what we're actually capable of here in Nigeria.
Wonderful. So we might have one more question.
Well, I believe they have said a lot. They have said a lot.
Yeah, but I've got one more question.
Okay.
Speaking about the Innovate Hub, prospectively, how do you feel Innovate Hub can come in to correct the anomaly in our agrotechnology sector?
That's a difficult question. Anomaly, okay. I wouldn't, it's interesting. I mean, the word anomaly is quite a complex one to basically address. But I think we can constantly look for more and more partners who are looking to actually improve the condition in Nigeria, especially in agriculture, to improve the yield, improve the quality of the food, improve little things like, for example, how the plants are irrigated, how we measure, how we even develop drones here, which basically can fly over and actually take a snapshot.
For maintenance.
So we're constantly looking for design, for ideas and solutions. So whenever a problem comes, we do our research, we see how other people are doing it around the world. We then try and tailor-make it to what we're capable of in Nigeria. And hopefully introduce it into the farms. So maybe that will hopefully solve the anomaly.
Well, we could write a textbook on agrotech from you guys.
No, I don't know about that.
Wealth of knowledge.
I mean, fountain of knowledge. Well, it's lovely having you guys join us today.
Thank you for inviting us.
And I believe our audience, you have been entertained.
I hope you also come back to shed more light prospectively in the future.
Thank you very much.
Yes, well,
thank you so much.
Things are quite busy at the center, but we'll do our best.
All right. It's been quite the sit down, with these two amazing gentlemen who are achieving groundbreaking strides when it comes to agrotech. So thank you so much, and thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Welcome back to All Cre8. So the conversation we had earlier, I mean, it was interesting.
Amazing.
We have really beautiful and wise people in Innovate. I mean, whatever they say, bust my head.
And I learned a few things, and just for you in particular, since you refused to give me food for the World Food Day, just learn agro and food security and everything that has to do with agricultural technology. So the next World Food Day, you'll be able to give me something.
Maybe.
No, that doesn't sound so confident.
Maybe.
Okay, so it's been an exciting episode of the podcast, and I actually enjoyed it. But before we go, just recapping what happened the last week, we've got a feedback from, actually it was a comment from the previous episode, which I was talking about women in STEM. And just tell us what it's about.
Well, if I recall correctly, the person was more concerned as to these resources that are provided for people in STEM are not restricted to only men. They are for everybody, but women have to be able to reach out to this, have to be able to use these resources. They have to be motivated to like actually come out, use these resources because they are free for all, not just men. So as much as yes, we as women, we feel like we're left out. We aren't, basically. We aren't really left out. We have resources to always look at and pay attention to.
Well, so that just goes ahead to tell us that STEM is not gender-based.
It's not gender-based.
Okay, so just to clear the air on that. So it's been an amazing episode. Thank you all for staying tuned, and we hope to see you next week. But before we go, our social media platforms will appear on the screen, and we hope you'll engage with us.
Subscribe.
All right. So from me, Oche, and
Marabel.
adios.
Bye.